Hello viewers, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal, reader in political science. Today stands before you with a very important video relating to distinctions between state and nation. In political science, there are some terms which seem to be same, but actually they are not same. In this context, in political science, state and nation, these two institutions or terms, though seem to be similar, but actually there is a very delicate difference, delicate distinctions between these two terms. So in this video, mainly 7 distinctions between state and nation have been discussed, and I have full confidence and I have strong belief or faith that this video will be very much useful for those students who want to be clear about the basic terms of political science and basic differences between terms of political science. Okay viewers, now start. What are the differences between state and nation? But before we discuss what are the major differences between state and nation, we must be clear first of all what is a state and what is a nation. Once we will be clear what is a state and what is a nation, it will be easy for us to mark out the difference between these two. Okay viewer, so what is a state? A state means it is an association which has 4 elements like population, fixed area, government and sovereignty. So state is an institution which must have 4 elements. Without these 4 elements, a state cannot be constituted. The first element of the state is population. For the formation of state, some people are required. Number 2, fixed area. For the formation of a state, a fixed area or fixed territory is a must. Number 3, government. For the formation of state, a government is necessary because government is the machine of state. Without a machine of state, state cannot function. And number 4, sovereignty. Sovereignty means supreme power. A state must have supreme power or ultimate power to take decision independently. If a state will be unable to take decision independently, it cannot be constituted. So, for the formation of state, 4 important elements are necessary like population, fixed area, government and sovereignty. So you are clear what is a state. Now we'll come to the point, what is a nation? A nation means in addition with 4 elements of state like population, fixed area, government and sovereignty, there must be 2 more things. Number 1, feeling of psychological oneness. People must have feeling mentally that they are one. Number two, emotional link. People must have emotional attachment. By this, a nation can be formed. So again speak, nation means in addition with population, fixed area, government and sovereignty, there must be psychological feeling of oneness among people. People must think that we are one. And number two, there must be emotional link or attachment. People must be one emotionally. It means if any one will be in bad position, if anyone will be in hot, it will have impact on other people. It is emotional link or attachment. So, we are clear what is a state and what is a nation. Now we'll discuss what are the basic differences between these two. The first difference between state and nation is on the issue of broadness. It means nation in comparison to state is very broad, and state in comparison to nation is very narrow. It means a nation is formed by taking four elements of state with it: psychological feeling of oneness and emotional attachment. Four elements of state like population, fixed area, government and sovereignty cannot constitute nation. They can constitute a state. Nation will be formed by taking four elements of state plus emotional attachment of emotional feeling of emotional oneness, or the feeling of oneness mentally, plus emotional link. So, but a state is formed only by taking four elements: population, fixed area, government and sovereignty. So, in comparison to state, nation is a broad term. It has wide application. So, the first difference between state and nation is that state in comparison to nation is a narrow concept, and nation in comparison to state is a broad concept. Okay, viewers, I think you are clear. Very good. Now we will proceed to the second point, issue of bindingness. A state binds people. A nation unites people. A state unites people, or a state binds people on the basis of force and law. It unites people on the basis of force and law. People are united out of fairness. But a nation unites people on the basis of emotional attachment. Okay, so the second difference between nation and state is that a state binds people, or a state unites people on the basis of emotional attachment or the feeling of psychological oneness. But a state binds people on the basis of force or law. So again I am speaking, the second difference between nation and state is that a nation binds people on the basis of emotional attachment or emotional feeling or the feeling of oneness. But a state binds people on the basis of force and law. Okay, viewers, now we'll proceed to the third point, issues of diversity. Another important difference between nation and state is that a nation consists of homogeneous groups, but a state consists of heterogeneous groups. Within a nation, No doubt various groups are found, but they are same in different aspects. They are similar in different aspects. But a state consists of diverse groups. By taking diversity on the basis of caste, color, religion, language, etc., a state is formed. For example, prior to First World War, in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, there were people of different groups. In spite of that, it was a state. So a state consists of heterogeneous groups, diverse groups, but a nation consists of homogeneous groups. The fourth difference between state and nation is on the feeling of oneness. It means a nation is formed on the issue of feeling of oneness. People in a nation feel that they are one. They are not different from one another. But a feeling of oneness is not observed in the state. State consists of different groups. They do not have emotional attachment. They do not have emotional link. But they can form a state. But without feeling of oneness, a nation will be a dream. Okay, viewers, till now we have completed 4 important distinctions between state and nation. Now we will go to the 5th one, issue of territory. On the issue of territory, nation and state are different. A nation requires no territory of its own. Without a permanent territory, a nation can be formed. For example, prior to 1948, Jews had no permanent territory, but they constituted a nation because Jews were inhabiting or were living in different parts of the world. So, prior to 1948, Israel or Jews had no permanent territory of their own. So they were unable to form a state. But they were nations. Okay, so a nation requires no permanent territory. A nation requires no permanent territory, but a state requires a permanent territory. Then come to the 6th one, issue of sovereignty. Another difference between state and nation is on the issue of sovereignty. A state requires sovereignty. Without sovereignty, a state cannot be formed. For example, prior to 15th August 1947, India was unable to form a country. Indians were unable to form a country because they had no sovereignty. They were under Britain. So a state requires sovereignty, but a nation requires no sovereignty. Without sovereignty also, a nation can be formed. For example, prior to 15th August 1947, Indians had no state because they were not independent. But Indians were living in different parts of the world. They were nations, but not state. Now we'll come to the 7th one, issue of annexation. It means a state can be conquered, a state can be annexed, but a nation cannot be subjugated, or a nation cannot be annexed. So, to make it more clear, another difference between state and nation is that a state can be conquered, a state can be annexed, a state can be taken under control. But a nation cannot be conquered because it is the emotional attachment of people. It cannot be conquered, it cannot be annexed. And the eighth difference between nation and state is that nation is subjective. We cannot mark it safe. But a state is objective. We can mark a state. This is India. This is America. This is Brazil. So another important distinction between state and nation is that state is objective. We can see the shape of a state. But a nation is subjective. We cannot mark the size of a nation. So these are the major differences between state and nation. First of all, they are different on the issue of broadness. Number one, they are different on the issues of bindingness. Number three, they are different on the issue of diversity. Number four, they are different on the basis of feeling of oneness. Number five, they are different from one another on the issue of territory. Then sixth one, they are different from one another on the issue of sovereignty. Then they are different from one another on the issue of annexation. And last one is they are different on the issue of subjective and objectiveness. So I have full confidence that this video will be very much useful for my beloved viewers and students. I advise to all that make best use of this video in order to have a good career. Thank you. Goodbye. We'll be here with another video. Thank you. Till now, goodbye to my beloved viewers. Thank you.